Hey there, everybody. I'm here with Dan Wasyluk. He is, are you CEO? You're CEO, right?
Yeah, that's right.
CEO of StadiaX, a very interesting gaming platform, and we're going to have a chat. He's going to talk to about that to us, and I'm going to be asking him a bunch of questions. Dan, thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So, who is Dan, and who is Stadia, and what is StadiaX? Because this is very interesting.
Yeah, my name is Dan Wasyluk. I've been in the technology space for the better part of 20 years. I started out doing uh, what I would call like full stack enterprise development, leading teams on the front and back end to develop software as a service products for large enterprises. And then around 2014, I actually caught wind of blockchain and Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff.
I've heard
And
of that. I've heard of that.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's got some popularity. So I actually started working on a protocol called Syscoin. We developed that for we actually had been developing it for over a year when we kind of came out publicly with it, and we did a small crowd sale, and then we went on to move forward with development of that protocol. That actually led us to then starting a company called Blockchain Foundry, where we'd actually envisioned to develop products and services around the Syscoin protocol. That ended up evolving into more of a generic blockchain product company, which was then acquired by WonderFi, an awesome company out of Canada, in late 2022. And then coming out of that experience, we had gotten a lot of exposure to not only core blockchain concepts, but also things like NFTs, stateful digital assets, utilizing blockchain for everything from logistics to healthcare to insurance records. And we really wanted to utilize the technology in a way that brought real value to users because we were seeing lots of blockchain products that were essentially just creating a product with the word blockchain in the name to kind of capitalize on the hype, right?
Buzz,
And
buzz.
so
Tulips.
right, exactly. Which some users will understand the whole tulips analogy. Some won't. And so we really started looking at how we could use blockchain technology to deliver real value to users, and also building that value in a space that we were passionate about. And we really kind of landed on the intersection of gaming and tangible value, or what gamers end up with when they pay to play a game, and what they get to take away from that experience. And we saw a lot of gamers and a lot of pay to play gaming models essentially taking funds from users but not giving those users any choice as to what happens with that value after it's entered a specific gaming ecosystem. And we saw blockchain technology as a good tool to use in that equation to provide users with more portable value and more choice. And that's really what then led to the development of StadiaX, which is essentially a Web3 or a blockchain based game publishing platform that allows users to engage with games in an ecosystem like format and take their value from game to game or take it entirely outside of the ecosystem. Like if you decide to play a game on StadiaX, you get bored of that game, you can withdraw your money and go either play different games or just leave the platform as a whole. The other thing we wanted to do there as well is make it easier for game developers and gaming studios to utilize the new gaming paradigm that we really believe that this Web3 or blockchain sort of capability can add to the experience. And so we also have a set of APIs and SDKs that allows for gaming studios to engage with Web3 offerings for their users without having to learn a bunch about blockchain and smart contracts and all that stuff or hire a whole blockchain team. They essentially get to do development in the way that they're already used to, using Web2 APIs and open API based specifications to develop their game, focus on the gameplay, augment it with the value that Web3 and blockchain can bring to the equation, but for themselves enable new lines of revenue because they can essentially repurpose existing catalogs to provide new experiences to both new and existing audiences, and really start to change how players engage with their offering when it comes to any sorts of offering that requires users to bring value into a game, like money or even time. Time is money. So
Okay, I'm gonna take a step back because that was a lot to unpack.
sorry.
There's a couple of main elements. So let's take a step back. So StadiaX is a platform, a coin. What is it?
StadiaX
Short
is
answer.
a Web3 game publishing platform.
Okay. So let's also make sure we understand what we're talking about. So NFTs, I mean, NFTs came and went, and they went like, the latest fashion. And it's my understanding NFTs do basically two things. They're for something of value, that something's unique, or to authenticate value for something to say that it's like we're using cryptocurrency and like a hashtag saying this is an authentic transaction.
Correct.
Am I correct, right? So StadiaX has games or will have games or is publishing games that users can play games and get what?
So the first answer to that question is StadiaX is a place for games to be published. We're working with a number of gaming studios
Okay.
to publish some games on launch. We have a number of additional studios who want to work with us, but we want to make sure that we get the gaming experience right, both for gamers and for gaming studios, before we go, adding a ton of games to the catalog.
Okay.
And
And then
in
so
terms of, sorry, go ahead.
Well, so a lot of what I'm going to say is NFT gaming platforms and systems that I've seen so far is I go play whatever it is, World of Warcraft. I say it was World of Warcraft, and I make a shiny sword. Now that I've got one unique special dragon or whatever it is, and I own that, and that becomes like a digital asset and it's unique to me, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what StadiaX is doing. That's an element of
No,
what StadiaX is doing, but because a lot of other people are doing that, that's not what you're doing. And the second part of that question is that a lot of companies also have some sort of in-game currency, but that in-game currency is usually locked inside the game, right?
right, right. And so you're spot on. We do have elements of that. You have a cool, shiny dragon, and that's yours. And what can you do with that? So we have some of that, but that's not the focus of our platform. I mean, one of the unique things we do with that is that you could potentially go use that shiny dragon in other games, which is something that we haven't really seen in this space, but not necessarily our focus. Think of avatars, right? Is
Right.
probably a better use
Okay.
case for that type of example. Um, what you're alluding to with like World of Warcraft Gold or any other type of game that features an in-game currency is really more getting at the heart of what we're all about, right? Where gamers are investing their money into a game with World of Warcraft Gold, and you may be earning some of that World of Warcraft Gold through playing the game, but what can you do with that gold once you're done with World of Warcraft, right? It's either nothing, right? You just forget about it, or I know there's also sort of like, call them pseudo black market type
Third
offerings,
third party vendors. Third party vendors.
third party vendors, right?
Right.
Where you can, try to monetize that
Right.
gold.
Right.
But there's lots of risks when you kind of try to do that. And what we want to do is utilizing blockchain technology and the ability to ensure that users have sovereign custody over their own assets is provide them the ability to take that World of Warcraft gold, use it in other games within StadiaX, or withdraw it entirely from the ecosystem and choose to use it as dollars, either in their bank account or out in the real world or something, really giving users the choice as to what they do with that value, both before they get into the game and after they've already sort of deposited it into a game and what they can do with it.
They could buy a pizza.
Yeah, they could buy a pizza.
Bitcoin joke. Okay, so StadiaX is the altcoin, right?
Yeah, StatX is the name of the coin.
StadiaX. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm Canadian. I'm going to say it weird. So, and that's the coin, but that's also the digital currency that authenticates any NFT process, right?
Correct. It's like when you come to, so there's kind of like two components of the gaming experience on StadiaX. You purchase an NFT digital scorecard, which we call a Game Pass,
Oh, okay.
and then that allows you to play a specific game. And that Game Pass also gives you a number of free plays for that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, like, let's say 3 or 5 attempts to set a leaderboard score. And if you've set a leaderboard score within those attempts, then you have, based on your leaderboard position, you are entitled to a certain percentage of the prize pool. There are prize pools behind every game on StadiaX.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
All right.
so when you engage with the game, rather than just, getting the entertainment value out of that game, you also are basically competing for a prize pool of StadiaX tokens. There might also be Polygon or Ethereum tokens in the prize pool, as well as sometimes like NFTs or unique digital assets. And so you're competing for these with everyone else on the platform. And if you set a high score with your free attempts, you then have that score locked into your scorecard, so that you can either claim the prize allocation that goes along with that, or you can even sell your scorecard. So you can go somewhere to like an NFT marketplace, sell your scorecard, and because it is qualifying for a portion of the prize pool, you may be able to sell it for more than ones that do not qualify for the prize pool. And then you could, of course, go buy another scorecard and try to set an even higher score to, best your previous score. But it's a new type of mechanic where users have the ability to earn more from the game based on skill, rather than just putting money in potentially to like try to pay to win sort of thing. And if you don't set a high score with, say, the 3 free plays you get with your scorecard, you can use your StatX to play additional plays and try to set a high score. But that's up to you. And you can put that StatX in. Let's say you put in 100 StatX and each play costs 1 StatX. You could play twice and set a high score. And so now you've got 98 StatX that you're like, I want to get back. You can withdraw that back out and then, play other games or put it back in your bank.
Okay, so you get draw. That very much sounds like a poker rebuy system.
Similar, I think. Except poker. I know poker really is like a game of skill on many levels. But
no, but I'm talking about the way that the purchasing goes. Like everybody puts their stuff, the prize pool's based on that, and you can have a rebuy to get back in the tournament, take a shot, but it only pays out at a certain point, right? So is that the only way people can generate and earn StadiaX when they're playing games?
No, there's one element that we really wanted to keep in mind as we were designing sort of the tokenomics or the microeconomy that exists within the system is, as you purchase game passes, which are like a digital scorecard that pays out monthly, or event passes, which are a digital scorecard that pays out on more of like a tournament type of frequency. And you finish, let's say you've played the game for 6 months and you just get bored of the game, right? You don't want to play anymore. Rather than just that scorecard losing all of its value, you can actually take that scorecard and lock it with a membership. And the more scorecards that you lock with your membership, the greater the loyalty rewards that you'll earn on the platform will be.
Right.
And so you can actually passively earn additional StatX tokens by being a loyal member, and a loyal member is quantified by how many gamer event passes you lock to your membership. So if I have 2 game passes locked to my membership, and Mike, you've got 1, I'm going to earn twice as much as you per day. If I've got 5 and you've got 1, I'll be earning 5 times as much as you per day.
Is that the equivalent of staking?
It's very similar to staking, but
maybe we should explain staking. So, from my understanding, staking is like, I'm not going to use my coins; it's going to sit there. I'm going to let you use it because those coins can be used to authenticate contracts and or do other development, and then you get a percentage payout that in that effect, right?
Very similar, and you're correct in your definition of staking, except these tokens are not actually used to like validate or authenticate anything. These are more a pure sort of loyalty incentivization mechanic.
Okay. A little more like an Xbox Pass or something like that. So you're going to get bonuses with that, right? So.
Right, and what it helps to do as well is for loyal members who are buying game passes, locking them with their memberships, that kind of thing. They're now earning StatX tokens, which gives them the ability to play more frequently at essentially 0 cost. And so that's the benefit for them. And if they don't want to use the tokens to play, you can always withdraw them from the system and buy a pizza or whatever you want to do with those tokens.
Well, I'd like to talk about 2 things. So I'm going to clarify. So people can purchase StadiaX inside the platform. They buy passes. Those get them into games. They play those. They can eventually get rewards from that, or they can enter tournaments or events and potentially get prizes from that as well. But then they can extract that. They can either sell those passes off to somebody else who wants up through a third-party vendor or like that. But then can they say, okay, I'm awesome, so I got 10,000 StadiaX. What do I do with them? I want to turn them into greenbacks.
Right. So this is a part of the ecosystem that will evolve as we get out the door and the platform goes live. We're just about to enter into our public crowd sale here on January 26th, and so these systems I'm going to reference aren't in place yet, but they're in our roadmap. You would essentially withdraw those tokens to your personal wallet,
Okay.
and then to your personal wallet or to your exchange account. And if you go to your exchange account, I'm talking about a centralized exchange
Right.
like Coinbase or KuCoin, that type of
No,
thing. And
okay,
that's
yeah.
where you can exchange it for essentially greenbacks, dollars. Or you can take it to your own personal wallet and work with a decentralized exchange, essentially doing the same thing to exchange your tokens for, USDC or Bitcoin or Ethereum. And
So
then
you're saying it's going to be
those.
a recognized digital currency that's going to be either purchased or available for trade on those platforms like you would anything else from Bitcoin to meme coins, right?
Yep,
I'm still
exactly.
hanging on to my Dogecoin. So
Hey, they got value.
I think it's the
And
one.
X might use it for a payment system, apparently.
Well, I think it's great because it's the one coin that's kind of like totally tipped everything on its head and caused other people to lose money. It's the
Yeah.
David and Goliath. So it's kind of terribly enjoyable. So, all right. So let's talk about so these coins, the StadiaX come out of thin air, but there's a minting process. They have to be created like anything else. And you recently had a minting process. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so the minting process that we're currently exercising is really more one to focused on growing community and identifying members of the community who are very early adopters of the platform,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can provide them with a digital asset that not only gives them, benefits and perks right out of the gate, but also allows us to identify them as the platform evolves and continue to give them rewards and benefits, or allow them to trade that to someone else for potential value, or other digital assets that they want to exchange it for. So we have an initial badge that we've launched, the Tier 1 badge, through Earn Alliance. They're a great platform that essentially allows us to develop uh, bounty based programs to incentivize the community to join our Twitter, join our Discord, retweet a message, that kind of thing.
Right.
And if you complete all of the different bounties, you then get an NFT,
Oh, okay.
essentially. And so we've already done one minting with Earn Alliance. It went really well. We sold out 10,000 badges in just under 14 hours. And that was awesome. It was great to see the feedback from the community, and,
That's
and really the
fantastic.
excitement.
Right.
Like we
Right.
went from a community of a few hundred to multiple thousands in overnight, right? And
This kind
so
of blew up your socials, didn't it?
yeah, it blew up our socials. I mean, we went on Twitter from something like 140 to now we're at over 11,700 users. And on Discord, we were sitting somewhere around 280, and we're now up around 21,000 on Discord.
That's a little bit of an increase.
Yeah,
That's a little increase.
yeah, a little bit. And then on the newsletter, we went from, I think we had just under 1,000, and now we're just over 60,000.
That's
And
amazing.
so, yeah, we're seeing a
Who's
great
this?
response from the community. So much so that we decided to open up another minting, which we just launched today, actually.
Oh,
And
okay.
so check out
Today's
earnalliance.com.
today
It's on our
today
homepage.
being January 22nd. Right. So.
Yep,
Yep.
that's right. And we opened up another 5,000 of the initial badge, so there'll be a total of 15,000 of those. And then we did another 10,000 of a new badge, which is the Tier 2 badge. And it's not going to get you all the same perks as the Tier 1 badge, but it'll still help us to identify you as an early supporter and member of the community.
So it's like a
And
founder badge, founder slash NFT, right?
exactly. And,
Okay.
and what it gets you is that, as the platform launches and we detect that badge within your wallet, you'll get special titles on the platform,
Right.
you'll get special abilities on the platform, you may get beta access to
I was gonna
games
say to
that
get
others
early
don't
access to
get.
things. Okay.
Yeah, all because you own that asset.
Now, all of this sounds really cool, but I'm a gamer, so having a currency behind a game was great. But that goes for large. You're talking about having a pool of games. You're talking about like what's in it for the gamers. I mean, in the end, I mean, you got two things going on here. You've got the whole NFT, the verification, a portable coin or a potable coin, right? But gamers want a game. So how are we going to address that? You talked about that a little earlier. Can you expand on that? Because I know that's part of your roadmap.
Yeah.
So
Totally. And a big part of the vision here is that we want to continually have new games on the platform from a variety of different studios so that gamers can come to the platform at any time and, you know, find a fun game to engage with. And it might be a new game, you know, based from day to day. There's going to be new stuff coming up on the platform. And a big thing for us as well is to be launching games on the platform that are in line with our users' interests. So by becoming a member on the platform, you actually have a voice in what games we launch on the platform, what types of new features or game mechanics we launch on the platform, and a host of other things. You actually have the right to vote on different games and different features that we're um, considering for the platform. And, you know, at the moment, we're very focused on being a mobile first, browser enabled type of gaming experience so that if we have
That's Web
a
three. That's
hundred
that's
different
Web three kind of stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
all
Okay.
right.
All right.
So you know, like if we have 100 games on the platform, you don't have to download 100 different apps on your phone and be jumping between all of them. You just go to StadiaX.com, tap on the game that you want to play, and boom, you're in the game playing. You
Right.
know, and if you want to play a different game, you just back up and then go into another game, and boom, you're in the game playing. And we're working with Play Canvas, who's a technology provider in the web gaming space. They use like a WebGL based type of technology that they've developed, and it's pretty awesome. Like if you go to playcanvas.com, you can explore some of the games that have been
Okay.
developed with their technology. But it's pretty cool because, you know, unlike Unreal Engine and Unity, you don't have to download an app to play these games, but you get a gaming experience that is still on par with Unreal Engine and Unity style games. And so, you know, that's the value that we bring for gamers is that you get basically like an arcade of games that you can come play in with different games showing up every day or every week. And these games allow you to earn tangible value that you can then utilize within the ecosystem, or you can take it outside the game. Like if you're someone who's really good at games and you think you identify the games on the platform that have a lot of interest from users, you'll be able to, you know, score high on that leaderboard and extract tangible value from the system on a regular basis based on the skill that you bring to the table for that game. So if you're like an FPS pro or you're like a RTS pro, we'll have those types of games on the platform. You can jump in there and compete with the rest of the players, and you can take home, you know, majority of the prize pool. And we're talking about prize, like we want to have prize pools that are several hundreds, if not several thousands of dollars in value to really motivate and create competition on the platform. We're not talking about just like $5 or $10.
Oh, okay. So it's not like coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and that'll depend on the volume. Also, I'm understanding that as most coins, this isn't a pegged coin, right? So because of being able to trade NFTs and trade on a market, that means it has some speculative value, right?
Yeah, there's going to be speculative value to it. We are committed to maintaining a very low cost per play on the platform.
Okay.
So, you know, as the value of the token changes on public markets, we will be adjusting the number of tokens that it will take you to play a game. So it's like, you know, if we start today and each token is worth 6 thousandths of a cent, you might spend 100 tokens to play a game, but over time, let's say the value of the token changes. So let's say let's say each token's worth 25 cents, then you might only have to pay a fraction of a token to play a game, so that you know you're not stuck spending. You're not going to be paying $100 to play a game. You know, we're going to make sure that the games stay pennies on a dollar kind of cost.
What's your expected market cap on StadiaX?
You know, StadiaX is really a utility token that's
Right.
intended to power gameplay and different types of ecosystem experiences. There will be a market cap to all of this. There is a finite supply of StadiaX tokens,
But there's a lot to go
50%
around.
of which
But
are
there will be a lot to go around.
yeah,
Okay.
there'll be plenty to go around. And you know, one of the things we do as part of the mechanics on the platform is as users purchase game and event passes to participate in games, a large portion of those revenues are put aside for the prize pool. But some of that, and of course, some of that comes to revenue to keep the lights on. But some of that also goes back to a reserve treasury, and the reserve treasury is kind of it's kind of like a layaway for point for StadiaX tokens. So as users come to the website and they want to buy tokens directly from us, we can issue them from the reserve treasury. If we find out that the reserve treasury is like maintaining an excess of tokens that don't really have a high probability of being purchased, we may start doing like regular burn events where
Okay.
we actively remove from supply.
Right.
But to start, right, because there's nothing like this, we want to keep the reserve treasury and see how the ecosystem matures, and then make those types of decisions.
Okay, and I know that you're just doing your minting now, and you have. We talked earlier. You had a 6 month, 1 year. Like, where do you see StadiaX in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years? What's your roadmap?
So, the first thing for us is really getting the funding on board to make this stuff happen long term.
Right.
The next big milestone for us is the initial membership minting event. So there are 3 tiers of membership on StadiaX: Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Each of those comes with different sort of perks and privileges. Check out the white paper on our website for all the details. But the Alpha memberships are the ones that are going to be launching first, and they have the most privileges and the most perks. And
Okay.
so that's going to happen in the second quarter of this year. So April, May, June kind of time frame. In that time frame as well, we'll be launching the first games. Like, we've got 3 games actively in development right now, and we're keeping the initial games on the platform just to 3 to start, because really we're using it to harden the API and SDK, so that as we open that up to more gaming studios, we have confidence that it covers all of the features and functionality that they'll need to deliver gaming experiences that
So you're gonna be testing the
gamers
system. So
want.
you're gonna that way you
Sorry?
you can test the system. You're gonna have to pilot the system, right? So, and
Right,
just for
exactly.
people to understand, API and SDK, those are the programming modules behind that are the object oriented modules that run the applications and the Web3 games, right?
Yep.
Good
Exactly.
thing I teach tech, and so it comes in handy sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
right.
so sorry. You're looking at launching 3 games, and then I know you're in the background. You're talking to established publishers about whether they can bring theirs to yours. So there's a system. When do you think you'll be like full Stadia?
Full Stadia, I think, will probably be more towards. It'll probably be around Q4 of this year, because in the third quarter we plan on launching the SDK publicly. So it's like any gaming studio that's interested in creating a Web3 experience can then just grab the SDK, build it, and submit their game.
Okay,
And so, because that's coming out in Q3, I think that by mid to late Q4, we'll really start seeing a large number of games trying to be launched on StadiaX.
that'd be
And
the fall
which
of
specific games we launch?
2024. That'd be the fall of 2024 then.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
And which games we launch depend heavily on what the community wants to see launched, right? And that's where the members really come into play.
Before we go, because there's a lot to deal with, but I think that's a really good sort of putting our foot in the pool there to sort of stir around.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but I seem to recall you mentioned something about Easter eggs.
Oh yeah. So Easter eggs are a great mechanic within games that I love. I'm a big fan of Ready Player One and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And so, while many gamers will be focused on sort of like speed running through levels or trying to maximize their points so they can, top out the leaderboard, there are Easter eggs hidden through all the games on StadiaX. And so
Okay.
you might not try to speed run it. You might go explore this path that, who knows where it goes, and you might discover something that could be valuable, or it could be just like a cool skin or avatar that you can use in game. And so, the types of Easter eggs you can discover on StadiaX really are there's a lot of variety to them, because it can be like a chest of StadiaX tokens, or it could be a cool avatar. And something that we're really committed to doing within our digital in-game assets is enabling multiple games to utilize the same asset. So it's like, if you have a really cool avatar that you like in Space Race, and you want to use that same spaceship in another spaceflight game on the platform, we want to make that possible, right?
Okay.
And so that's another advantage to the digital assets on StadiaX, is that you're not just stuck using that in one game. You could use it in potentially many games, depending on the vision of the developer.
If they're a similar genre or something, right? So
Right.
it would have to be similar, right? Because otherwise, I'd look kind of
Yeah.
weird in a spaceship in my World of Warcraft.
You're not gonna have a spaceship in a first-person shooter.
No, okay. Although it would look cool. All right.
It would look cool.
Okay, so clearly, I'll put links, because I'll put links up in the YouTube. But generally, the people can find your website and everything at StadiaX. All right.
StadiaX.com. Our X Twitter is StadiaX Gaming, and check us out on EarnAlliance.com as well. We've got a mint going on now. There's still a few of the tier 1 badges if you're quick. But the tier 2 badges will probably be around for a little bit longer, and those are those are a way for us to identify you as an early adopter of the platform, and you're going to want to have that badge, and it's free to mint. So all you got to do is like us on Twitter and some stuff like that. So encourage folks to check that out, and definitely come join our Discord. Discord.gg/StadiaX. We have a good time. There's lots of games already to play within the StadiaX Discord, and we're always talking as a group in there. There's already 20,000 of us chit-chatting in there on a regular basis.
That's very cool.
So I encourage people to come down and hang out.
Are they asking when they're going to get a GamerDad pass?
Of course. Everyone's like, when's the GamerDad video going to come out?
All right, Dan, it's a pleasure talking to you. I hope you don't mind. I'd like to contact you again and see how things are going on as things develop, and maybe get some demos and stuff like that. And again, I'm talking to Dan Wasyluk and from StadiaX, and a very, very, I think, unique view on the NFT, cryptocurrency, and of value gaming out here in the world. Dan, thanks a lot for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Looking forward to the next one.
All right. See ya.